A car.
At all.
Okay, good.
Not I don't hear no car running. I don't hear no
Okay.
background. Don't hear no background noise. None of
Okay,
that.
good.
But yeah, we're live. So
We're alive.
we're going across multiple platforms tonight. We're trying something a little bit different. Just to really give people an opportunity to get involved and put their 2 cents in. So I'm looking at comments like while we're talking. So if you hear me pause for a second or see me make that face, it's because I don't have my glasses on, and I told y'all it's not a resting bee face. It's just because I can't see. I'm gonna look at the comments, kind of see what kind of input we're getting from across the streams, and I'll probably do that while each of you are talking about what specifically you wanted to get into for tonight. I see T has joined the building, but I don't actually see her. There is Nat Fabulous. Hey Nat.
Hey, Natalie.
What's going
Can
on?
Oh, you
I'm
sound
good.
great. Can you guys hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
We
Mm-hmm.
can
good.
hear you.
Okay, good. All right. I just don't see T. I think you're here, but I see you here, but I don't see you. So I don't know if you just
Yes,
waiting.
ma'am. I'm here.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Well, ladies, it's Friday. TGIF. Happy Friday to y'all. How was everybody's week?
Woo! It's great. It was good. Can't complain.
It was a long week. It
I
was
second that, Nat. I second that.
right. Yeah, it was a long week. It was a long week. I think it was the rain too. Like just the whole
Yeah, definitely the rain.
oh, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about you, T Gorgeous? How was your week?
It was long. I agree with you guys. Long as well.
Glad it's over.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm, mm,
Glad to
mm,
have
mm,
a
mm.
slight break.
Right.
Anybody have any good plans? Anything that they're getting into for this weekend, or is everyone just kind of taking it day by day and chilling?
I am staying in my bed. I sound like an old person. Man, I'm going to Netflix and chill by myself.
I hear that.
Man,
That
yes.
sounds fun.
Yeah, there's a couple of shows that I want to get myself caught up on, so I think that's what I'm going to do as well. I have to travel back to Jacksonville, unfortunately, on Monday, and then be there for a couple of days. So you guys already know some of the backstory with that, so we'll just save that for another time. But yeah, this week was just ugh. But tonight we're talking about how far is too far. And there's been lots of stories, lots of articles, lots of news reports, lots of social media posts with people posting about different situations that involve um, medical interventions, if you will, and what the government is doing and how closely involved that they're getting and how wild and crazy it seems to be with these vaccines. So I don't know which one of y'all would like to go ahead and kick it off. I know Edwina, you had a lot to say earlier. Did you want to go ahead and start us off?
Yeah, I was saying earlier how I felt that, um, the government has a hand in a lot of stuff. We think that we have a choice over our life and our health, and our kids as well. But when it comes down to it, they can make the decision for us. And I was telling you on Tuesday, like if your child gets sick and you have to make a major decision, you know, um, they can override you as a parent. The government can override you as a parent and go ahead and do what they want to do to your child if you don't want to have certain treatment to them or not. So um, I feel like it's wrong. I feel like we should have a choice. We talked about even abortions. You never know what a woman has been through or what she's going through. But nowadays it seems like, we can't make choices no more. It's like either you do this or this is the consequences. Either you um, get the shot and you could travel, or you don't get the shot and you can't travel. You see what I mean? So um, it's like there's no more freedom, no more freedom of speech for us no more.
Well, yeah, I mean, freedom is gone. And if you are a US citizen and you trying to go to France, if you want to go to El Paris, you ain't going if you don't have the vaccine. They have shut the doors, they are refusing entry. So if you do not opt to be vaccinated and have proof of your vaccination, then France is not going to let you in the country.
That's serious.
Wow. Yeah, that is serious. That's crazy.
I saw a list the other day. It was just showing all the high tourist areas that are like on high alert. And it was a long list. People on Twitter, they're like, don't come to Hawaii. Don't post your pictures in Puerto Rico. Don't you feel ashamed that you're endangering people that, might not have all the medical resources readily available if something were to happen, like, just like a mass spread, an outbreak. So it's getting scary, definitely. I also was going down a rabbit hole on Twitter, and people were just saying, like, stock up on this, on that, because, if they try to force people to have them, then it's going to be an issue. There are a lot of groups that, they're, whether it was before COVID or what have you, there are large groups of people that are just against vaccinations in general. So it's like, well,
Yeah, that's true, Natalie.
and, some people, that's just how they've been for decades now. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Before the COVID shot came out, Natalie, they were like that. So I've been hearing the same thing you were hearing, just stock up on food and other stuff. And I'm like, well, why? Are they gonna close the stores down? But same thing you're hearing, stock up on food, stock up on water. It's about to get crazy. So
well, with any type of mandate, if you think about it, I mean, of course, there's going to be people that are protesting, and then you have your different levels of protest. You have those that choose to silently protest with their signs and lock arms and march, and they're not disruptive, they're not violent, they're not smashing windows and robbing the Gucci store. And I think that was in Canada. I was reading an article about that different first responders and different healthcare workers that have different views on vaccinations felt like they weren't ready to get the vaccine yet because there were still issues. Like, if the vaccine was everything that they said that it was, then why do we now need a booster? Why do we now need a booster, and why are people that have been vaccinated developing breakthrough cases of COVID? We were talking about this a few minutes ago, and I had sent the message a while ago, and it was like, Wendy Williams has COVID. She's vaccinated. I don't know if it's has anything to do with the other health issues and things that she's going through, but that certainly is not pushing me forward towards getting a vaccine if I'm still going to wind up becoming ill anyway. And then if I need to get booster shots every 6 to 8 months, how effective is the initial vaccine anyway? And then what in the heck are we putting in our bodies?
exactly, Brenna. And that's what I was thinking about. I was like, what's the point of getting the shot if I'm gonna get sick anyways? Is it supposed to prevent me from dying? Because I'm hearing people that are fully vaccinated are still dying. So it's like, um, am I supposed to take the shot and just hope and pray that it doesn't take me out? It doesn't make sense. And like you said, getting a booster shot after a booster shot, it's like, okay, when does it stop? Because even with the flu shot, I think it's what, once a year, and this is what, every 6 months.
Man, I left that flu shot alone. I want to say like 5 years ago. I
You
stopped
know,
getting that flu
Brenna, I
shot.
did too. It was one time I got really, 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 really sick, really sick. And I was like, no, I'm just not going to take it from now on. And to be honest, ever since I stopped, I have never got the flu. Never got the flu ever since I stopped taking it.
Yeah, because we're on the vaccine that they have for the flu is for a version of the flu that's already outdated. We're on the new flu. We're on the H1N1 792,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
they've been vaccinating us against H1N1 5.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's not going to be helpful. It's not going to impact anybody. T, what you think about this vaccination situation?
I mean, honestly, I just feel like it's everyone's personal choice, whether they want to be or not. I do. I was talking to a friend of mine, her aunt, not too long ago. Now, I do think that some people, you can have whatever reason you don't want to have it vaccinated. But as we were talking, she's an older lady, of course, and she was like, "Well, if you have a child and you weren't married, were you thinking about that when you went out and had sex, or were you thinking about that before you were out drinking, or if any type of drugs? You don't know what people be to mixing things." So I was like, that is valid as well. It's amazing how many times, to me, people have the reasons they don't want to, but we take so many other different risks in life every day as well. But again, it's just everyone's choice, whether they want to or not.
You did make a good point, T. We do take chances every time.
Every time, and you just never know what you're getting, is what it seems like.
Right.
Um, there was a story that I was reading. Um, I'm not sure if y'all can hear that noise. I'm not sure what it is. Hold on a second. Okay. There was a story that I was reading, and it was talking about Texas, and Texas being one of those states that wants to criminalize any and everyone that is involved in um, the termination of a pregnancy for whatever reason. So whether the doctor came back and said, "Hey, your baby has DNA genetic malfunctions and is not going to live a healthy, thriving life," or if it is a child conceived through a sexual assault, they are making it criminal. Like if you are just the driver, if you just Thelma and Louise and like, "Hey, I'm not going in it with you, but I know you need this ride. I don't want you to have to go through this line of protesting people by yourself. I'm gonna drive you there." They want to make it criminal. They want to make it against the law for you to even be able to assist anyone to get to one of the very last few remaining locations that Texas is even going to have before that's completely wiped away. So I don't necessarily want to debate everyone certainly express your opinion, but I mean, do you think this is an example of the government going too far by making this criminal?
Um, yes and no. Um, I think having abortions is your choice, um, is your decision. But what I don't stand for is somebody getting an abortion in their third trimester, even their second, I feel like, because you have to remember um, when it's a life in your womb, even if it's 15 weeks, you take it out. And from what I understand, the doctors actually rip the arms and the legs. That child can feel that. You see what I mean? So, like I said, your decision is your decision, but don't wait too late where the baby is fully developed and like, oh, I want to get an abortion at 32 weeks. You see what I mean? Um,
You talking about 32 weeks? I mean, I delivered all of my
I,
kids at 32 weeks.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, but there's some people out there that will still like wait to the very end and be like, oh, I can't have this child. Which in one way, if you felt like you couldn't have that child, you should have known at least in the middle. I'm not gonna say the beginning. The beginning, your hormones, everything's going on, but at least in the middle, say, "Hey, I can't provide this child a good life. Let me go ahead and terminate it before 15 weeks." like you start feeling the baby around that time. Like I don't even believe in 15 weeks. I'm just saying it because some people they do. Um, I feel like a life is a life. But like I said, everybody has their own personal choice, but just don't wait that long because that can really affect the baby and it can affect you mentally and emotionally to know that you terminated your baby at that time, at 32 weeks or whatever time you do.
Edwina, which I mean, all of this makes perfect, perfect sense. And I get you. I feel you talking about the 32 weeks. Man, I was there, when all of my kids were born. But what if we're talking about a situation where it's a younger child, a 9-year-old, a 10-year-old, an 11-year-old who was sexually assaulted or molested, and that turned into a pregnancy, and she doesn't have anyone to talk to, or when she tried to express what happened to her, no one was listening, or was very dismissive. I mean, we hear about these stories a lot, we read about these stories a lot, but even I think there was a show on TLC, I think it was, and it was called like I didn't even know I was pregnant, or I didn't know I was pregnant until literally their water broke and they were in the hospital and they were getting ready to push the baby out. So, do we make exceptions for certain situations and certain parameters? Because sometimes when you wait and you wait and you wait and you wait, let's talk about Love and Hip Hop, Erica Mena, right? When she told her husband that she was pregnant, he was like, "How many weeks are you?" She said 23 weeks. This is baby number 3 for her. So I mean, she's not a 9-year-old little girl, she's not 11, but she did later on in a different episode kind of talk about how she was in just a little bit of denial and kind of scared because Safari had expressed that he really didn't want to have any more kids. And here she is, his wife, and she pregnant and she 23 weeks, and yeah, we gonna be having this baby.
Because in that situation, they could have been scrambling to say, "Oh my gosh, should we not? Should we not?" But I just think it's like a personal decision, Like I don't think the government should be regulating over women's bodies, especially being that mostly men are the ones that are making these laws. It's like, what do you guys really know? I mean, that's just how I feel about it. So I feel like they should
Exactly, Natalie. That's true.
be up to you because so many different things could happen. So many different scenarios, could come into play. And it's just like, you got to figure it out. Nobody knows your situation but you at the end of the day. So I feel like it should be personal because that comes with a lot of guilt. It comes with a lot of issues. It comes with, just a lot of emotions and feelings that only you know how to handle it, what's best.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely individualized, but what I've also seen in research and studies, and people having conversations and going deep into it, and into Twitter, is that when you're a young girl and you're a kid, you don't know, like there's just certain things that you don't understand, especially if you come from a household where you've never had the conversation, so you don't know what your cycle is, or you don't know that you can even get pregnant before you start your cycle, because girls are born with all the eggs that they're ever going to have. And so if you're one of those early starters in terms of puberty, and your hormones start making the switch at 9, 10, 11 years old, just because you haven't needed any accessories, if you will, no pads or tampons or anything, because you haven't had a visit from Flo, there's still the possibility of pregnancy. And if you are in a case where you've been assaulted, uh, I still feel like there should be some parameters to allow for either counseling or some kind of explanation, so that you understand, the gravity of the decision that you're making, because you certainly don't want to bring a child into the world, a child yourself, and then be filled with all kinds of resentment and regret, or reminders of what's happen to you. But then that's when we talk about, oh, well, there's this great thing called adoption. And you know, you just get through the pregnancy, we'll get you through the pregnancy, and then you can go ahead and have adoption. Well, someone had commented below and said, well, if men were required to get reversible vasectomies, we wouldn't have none of these problems. And I started laughing and I was like, yeah, yeah.
That's true.
Right.
That's so true.
True.
I think some men are scared to do that though, because they'll say, "Oh, get your tube tied." I'm like, "No, why don't you do something?"
You
Yeah,
might about that. They probably just like, I don't want nobody going down there and playing with nothing in there.
messing me up.
But
But you think I want somebody down there playing in here? Like,
Exactly. I need
like
my intact.
we on the same page, honey. Like, it's just one of us,
Exactly.
you know, like you are the one that can prevent your lack of wanting to wear a condom because it's too tight or it doesn't feel the
Exactly.
same or whatever, or
That's
we,
the famous excuse, Brenna. Oh,
you
it's too
know,
tight. Well, get one
you
that fits. Well, none of them fit. Well, oh well.
we'll get a vasectomy. Then just get a vasectomy. Just snippity snip. Get you some ice. Get you a little Tylenol 3
Exactly.
and go lay down somewhere for a couple of days, and then you're good.
Exactly. That's too funny.
true though. Hmm.
I can't. Like, I've literally said, like, why don't you just? It's like, well, I'm kind of like, what if I want another baby? Well,
Mm-mm.
I don't want any more kids.
No more, Brenna.
So I said, my
Not one
husband
more.
was
You don't want to start over?
nope, nope, no, 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 nope, nope, nope.
No,
I'm gonna be
no.
auntie. I'm gonna be auntie. I'm gonna be grand auntie. I'm gonna be friend auntie. I'm gonna all of that, but I do not want to start from scratch. When my
Yeah.
children can make me scrambled eggs and toast, I'm good. I don't want to breastfeed again. I don't want to,
You don't want to go back to the baby food
I,
again.
I just don't. And I love kids, but it's a lot of work. And I spent a lot of that
It is.
time by myself because my husband was traveling. So it was kind of traumatic for me because I felt like even though I have a partner, I still felt like I'm a single mom because you're only here on the weekends. You make it back late Thursday night and then you're out Sunday afternoon. So you're just, you get to do all the fun stuff while mommy does all the cleanup and everything else and then at least tries to get, a nap in once in a while if she can. But I guarantee you, if it was a requirement, if the government stepped in and said all single, unmarried men, not in long-term relationships, no intentions of solidifying a relationship with the person that they're with, that they were required to get vasectomies, we would be in a lot different situation because they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it.
Exactly.
Yep.
I agree.
They're like, hold on, let me find me a little boo.
Nelly's crazy.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, it would.
A
It
whole
would.
world.
Hmm.
'Cause Lord, some of these dudes nowadays,
Okay. We're
they
not
want.
gonna have that. We're not gonna have that conversation, Natalie. That's a whole nother topic. By you just saying that, some of these guys these days, okay.
Want to go to their 70, 80.
Hmm. Yep.
Because they
90 if they
can,
can make it.
because they can. That's the problem. Like, why was Larry King having a baby at 85 years old? Because he can. Because for the rest of from the time that a man goes through puberty and his testicles drop down, then he's producing sperm and he can get pregnant at any time. We get a window, right? So we're born with all the eggs that we're ever going to have, and then we get this window. And once you get to be a certain point in time, then all of a sudden you're, oh, I got to worry about my eggs drying up and advanced maternal age. And oh my gosh, what about menopause and premenopause and all these other things? I mean, a friend of mine was telling me that her and her husband had tried for 3 years to get pregnant, and it started. Now they'd been dating for 7, so by the time they were married and 27, they were like full on ready and full on let's go, let's get pregnant, let's have a baby mode. And she just was not getting pregnant. And when they went to the doctor to try to figure out like what was going on, he was like, you started menopause. She's like, I'm 27. Like, I'm not 50. I'm not 55. Like, my grandma's in menopause. So there's a lot of different contributing factors and a lot of things. Like, women's bodies are very sensitive. So I feel like it's the least that y'all can do. If the government want to get involved and stuff, then mandate these men to go ahead and get vasectomies. Just do that for us.
Okay. They would never.
Yeah, they will not.
Because they're
They
the ones that
wouldn't.
What'd you say, Natalie?
because they're the ones that are making the rules.
Okay, that's true.
What you think, T? What you think about if the government want to get involved in stuff and they mandate that men have to get vasectomies if they're single, unmarried, not planning to be married anytime soon, that must be the mandatory procedure that they have to go through. And vasectomies are reversible, so you get it for now, and then when you're ready and settled and decide you want to have a baby, we just undo what we did and you're good to go.
No, I was just gonna say that I saw, I think it was a TikTok or something where a guy was saying he had one and that it was reversible. But as far as like the government being over it, again, I really just think it's people's choices, you know. I don't think that should be their decision, you know. Let the man make that decision. They also need to make sure that they're, you know, are being careful and not just creating kids and stuff that they can't take care of. But at the same time, that's just something that I think is that person's decision.
If they make the responsible decision and they use protection and all of that,
Right.
do you think that would help cut down on this issue we have with these exorbitant amounts of child support? I'm still cracking up over some of y'all's comments from last week with the being too greedy with the child support. But if they head it off at the pass, isn't that being responsible? Or if they make the choice on their own and they do that and get the vasectomy and are not out here, I'm sorry, they make the choice to get the vasectomy and they're out here because they're with this one and 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 this one. Like, I don't ever, and I would never want to be in a situation where it's one of those we pregnant at the same time. I see too much of that, and it's kind of, I don't, very sister wife-y, I guess.
Can
I
I
don't
say
know.
something?
Yes, of
And
course.
this is just me. I don't understand why when people have sex, that's the first thing that comes to their mind is getting pregnant. Nobody else is worrying about anything else like diseases, STDs, HIV. Like that should be the first thing. That's why I support condoms. I support condoms. Okay, like people have to think smart. Like getting pregnant is okay. You should be concerned about that, but you have to be concerned about everything else. Like we have to bring that to the light. Like I think that's why a lot of young women they have sex and they just don't care because they think, oh, the least is gonna happen to me is I get pregnant. You're not gonna worry about anything else. Like what is it? What is those things? Gonorrhea, chlamydia, warts. Like what else? Herpes. Like you don't think about that type of stuff. Like that's out there, and people don't want to speak on it and bring light to it. So all these little young girls and boys they go out there and have unprotected sex because they think, oh, I'm just gonna have a baby instead of getting other stuff as well. So I feel like people don't promote safe sex anymore. It just went out the window. I remember having sex ed class, and like you say no to drugs, you say no to sex without a condom. You see what I mean? Like there's no awareness no more. So people thinking, okay, I have sex, I get pregnant. No, you're gonna have sex, something else gonna happen to you. You know? That's how I learned about sex.
I
My mom,
mean, go
mhm, my mom, when she was teaching me about sex, she pulled out all the nasty pictures of every STD you could think of and to put the fear of God in me. But let me tell you one thing, I didn't go out there and have sex. I waited because of that. That's all.
I mean, the craziest part to me is that the baby and getting pregnant definitely is the bigger, larger, never ending consequence, with the exception of some of the
Why? Because
diseases.
it's long term in this, and because you have to take care of a child until he's 18. That's why.
Right.
So
Right.
let me ask the question.
That's what people are more
Exactly,
concerned with,
exactly. But
instead
listen,
of,
Brenda.
go ahead.
Brenda. But listen to this. That's true. 18. But you get HIV, then what? You have that for the rest of your life. Or AIDS. That's past 18. So that's why I said we have to really wake up and educate our young girls and boys about sex, not about, okay, you get pregnant. Yes, you can get pregnant and it can affect your life. But can you imagine these young girls and guys out here getting other stuff on top of being pregnant and not knowing?
See, that for me, I have a real issue with people not having an awareness of STDs and STIs and infection and what that can do to the body. And here we are, in this state, so worried about COVID, and people are asymptomatic or they've had the vaccine, yet they're still out here getting people sick. I mean, there was a story, you can Google it and it'll come up, and it's this man, and he was fully aware that he was HIV positive, and he was just, what do they call it, spreading it low and slow, low and wide. I mean, every woman that he could get with, he was getting with. No mention, hey, by the way, I tested positive and I'm HIV positive. I'm on, medication to keep my viral loads down. We've got to triple wrap this thing in order to make it happen. But here's my disclosure so you don't turn around and sue me. And several women turned around and they sued that man because they wound up becoming infected. Either the HIV was detectable in their blood, or they moved on to having full blown AIDS infections. I mean, listen, if we can get that condom over the eggplant in health class, like, you can't tell me that that thing is too tight. There's some big ass eggplants out there, huge, but it's too tight for you, sir. Okay, I'm gonna back out now because I don't, I don't want any issues with that as far as that's concerned. It's crazy. And I think, Edwina, when you were talking earlier about the sex ed, like, did you have to sign the paper? Did your mom have to sign the paper that allowed you to participate in the class, or did you have to go somewhere else, not in the class, and read a book? Because I remember quite a few parents were against the sex ed portion in health class.
Can you hear me, Brenda? Yeah,
Now I can hear you.
yeah, sorry. Natalie's trying to get back in the chat too. We got out for
Oh,
some
okay,
reason. I don't know what happened. Yeah, but she's trying to get in too.
gotcha.
But my mother did sign the paper. She was like, "Oh, you're going because I want you to know what's going on." So I was the one that was in the classroom that had to actually learn about it and come home and tell my mom what I learned about sex ed class. So yes,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't remember signing the paper. I don't know nothing about it. My school, we saw one video,
See,
and that was
see that's what I'm talking about.
And that
they
was
with
and that was
that.
That was here in Georgia, Nat? That was in Georgia?
See?
Okay.
They
Yeah.
wheeled that
Yep.
car in with the TV on top. And we watched. That was it. I'm like,
Not the AV
See?
cart. Not the
No,
AV cart with the
no.
video with
We
the
had
TV
a
on top.
class, and she tried to put a condom on with the banana, which I just felt like I was like, oh my god, I'm putting a condom on a banana. Lord help me.
y'all
Um, huh?
y'all had to do it, or the teacher was demonstrating?
No, she demonstrated, and then she gave us all bananas, and she told us how to like stretch the bottom of it and how you needed to roll it down the proper way. And that was, girl, which I'm glad she did in one way. She taught us as girls, but I felt like the men should know how to do it more than the females do, because they're the ones that always put the condom on. To me, it's like, okay, they don't put the condom on you. Who does that? You know what I mean? It's like
Here, don't
he's
worry.
supposed to do the
Sit
gesture,
back.
rip it, do that sideways rip and put it on. Oh man.
It was
Yeah.
on.
I just know that in my class, in New Jersey, up in New Jersey, yes, they did not reel in the AV cart with the TV, but our teacher also there was an assortment of fruits and vegetables. That's why I mentioned the eggplant, because our teacher actually did go in and explain that, there are different size um, eggplants, if you will.
Yeah,
Some
they are.
some might be a banana,
Yeah.
some might be a cucumber, some might be a squash, some might be a
Some might be a
zucchini.
grape.
You know,
Oh. Hey, grapes need love too, guys. Don't do that.
but how do you get the condom on a grape? That's
Girl.
the one that I don't. They didn't present us with that one. No, no
No, that's
grapes,
when you go
no
to
grapes,
the
no
prank shop.
grapes.
The prank shop. They got the extra small little condoms for the kids, so you have to give those for the prank store. They had them extra small condoms.
Are you serious?
Do
Yeah.
they work though?
Huh? Oh, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
When I was in high school, we used to buy them as pranks. Yeah. So like, if you gave it to the guy and he put it on, something's wrong, because it's supposed to be a prank. It's supposed to be, it's extra small now. It's not supposed to fit. That's the prank. So yeah. Yeah. And if he's an eggplant and over too much, just get special ones online. They have them.
Well, you need a special condom, and then you need some extra kind of lubrication. We might have to call Stacy back up for that one,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
that's
Yeah. I think when
that's
it boils down to it, though, I don't think
a
men like
lot.
wearing condoms, because it's always the same excuse. Oh, it doesn't fit. Well, which one do? I just don't think men like wearing condoms. I think they like just having sex freely and not think about anything else.
Can't do it like that.
No, we
Can't do
can't
it
do it
like
like
that. Well,
that.
especially not in
How are you?
2021. You definitely can't do it like
No.
that.
And
Mm-mm.
how are you so obsessed with the difference in feeling from wearing a condom versus not wearing a condom? Like, is that somewhere embedded in the chemistry of your mind that it's like, ooh, when you don't have one on, you get 10 times the sensation versus when you do have one on? Like, that's just dumb. I'm not down with that one at all. At all, at all, at all. I mean,
Safety first.
when you refuse,
Nelly, I heard you. She crazy.
when you refuse and then you can't provide to me a sheet, I need to see the sheet from
Okay, Brenna, in 2021, that's what I tell people. And I don't look at me like I'm crazy when they want to talk to me. I say, I need your identification sheet to show that you're STD free. They look at me like, this woman's
I
crazy.
need I
No,
need
because
your
I can produce
results.
mine. I can produce mine, sir. So I need you to produce yours, or we can go together and
As
get a
a matter
physical
of fact,
together.
good sir, you ain't even got to produce me the sheet. Just log into your patient portal. It's right there. It's right there. We can see it. I know what I'm looking for. Let me see. Okay, good, 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 clear. and then we're good. But they don't want to do that, nor do they want to go get tested. But I mean, maybe that's what's wrong with some of these men
Exactly.
today.
Exactly. And you know what I hate is when you're in a relationship and you get tested as the woman and they say, "Oh, I'm good." How you good? You didn't get tested. I got tested. You may have something that I don't know about. You know what I mean? Oh, well, if you don't have it, I don't have it. Man, you sound so stupid.
It's- they're gonna hand you a
Because you may not have like an STD, but you can have other sicknesses and diseases that you don't know about. You see what I mean? That's the whole point of you taking a yearly physical, getting checked. Get a pap
Man,
smear. And they just switched the pap smear. They're talking about every 3 years. No, 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 no. No, no, no. She's getting it every year. I don't need every 3 years. I'm about the CDC. No, the CDC don't know me.
Mm.
Every year. I'm just every year. My daughter's like, it's when I just every year. We're coming back every year. Okay.
but it's like the dudes that don't have any symptoms or don't feel like that real uncomfortable itch that they have, or maybe that odd discharge is should be worth looking at. You still want to be out here laying it low and wide and all that other kind of good stuff. Like that's just so ugh. And
when
then you just
you said
passing
that,
it around.
when you said that the first time when you were telling the story about the guy, she said low and wide. I was like, I was waiting to come back on. I'm like, oh, let me in, let me in. I was cracking up. Low and wide. I said,
That's funny. But you're right, Brenna. actually listened to the radio station this morning. And I guess it's like a radio station where you can like call in anonymously. I can call in and have a conversation, not tell who you are, basically. And the guy was like, I invited this girl to Cancun for the weekend, but I woke up and I have a bump on my penis. Should I still go with her? And they're like, hell no, you're not supposed to go with her. You might want to go get that looked at, whatever's on your penis, because a bump is not good.
cool.
No
I said,
bumps. No
he's gonna
bumps.
get
Like,
like,
you,
oh,
you know, and only thing he kept saying is she fine, she fine, and I want to go to Cancun. I'm like, yeah, okay. So that's where your mind is. Your mind is having sex. Your mind is not on trying to recover that bump on your penis that you probably got from another woman.
safety first.
So she
Yeah,
walking around, somebody else walking around with bumps. He walking around with a new bump. He about to sit his bumpy ass in a seat on a plane. I'm this see,
yep.
this
And
is
if
how
he's
we wind up
hungry,
in
he's
a
gonna end up having
pandemic.
a bump on his lip. Uh, I'm just saying.
Oh no.
This is real chill conversation. We just keeping it real.
Okay. No, that is.
And then he gonna say, "Oh, it's just a cold sore." Nah, player.
And then
Not the cold sore.
Not the cold
Not the
sore.
cold sore. Not the I like using Carmex because it keeps my lips soft. Okay. All right now.
hmm
What you got for us, Nat? What about what you got that you saw that took place during the week that just kind of made you say, "What? Are they
hmm,
really gonna do that? Are they going too far?"
I would really the only thing I had to say was the speech that Biden gave. It was like a list of different things that I guess they're trying to implement or bring back, that they have implemented during the pandemic. But it's just like, it seemed so far fetched. Like, I don't know if it was the way he presented it, like just his mannerisms up there, like what he was saying, but it just didn't seem as genuine as I would have expected, knowing our a real sin.
Okay, y'all. I'm not trying to be funny. I promise you, I'm not. But doesn't it seem like sometimes he forgets a lot? Like he maybe have like Alzheimer's or dementia. And I'm not trying to be funny. This is a serious conversation because I watch. I'm watching the same thing you're watching, Natalie, and it sometimes he just seems like he's forgetful and he blinks his eyes and
Yes.
you
I
see,
I Googled him. Like that speech made me Google him. I'm like,
yeah, because I'm like, man, something is off, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, if we, the American people, see this, I know his team sees it. Like, I know they can tell him, hey, this is what's going on. You look like this on camera. Like, Yeah, I'm with you, Natalie. I had to really look into stuff with him when I saw that. I was like, something's off with him. Like something's going on, you know.
It's
And my little nosy, but I go to Google for everything. So I'm like, let me see
yeah,
what's going on in his little personal
yeah.
life.
Let me go to the Googler and see
I'm gonna go to the
what's
Google alert because
what's happening.
something's not right.
I was wondering if it was a combination of the distraction of it being close to the anniversary of his son that passed away from cancer. And I believe his first wife also passed away from cancer. Not Dr. Jill Biden, but the person he was married to years and years and years and years and years and years and years ago. If he is also becoming overwhelmed because the expectations that we had were that, okay, when this man marches into office and he sits his behind down in the Oval Office and Kamala's coming in and they're doing their calls and they're traveling and they're doing this, they're doing that, they're going to immediately get to work and they're going to work on things that we're going to be able to see tangible results on. And yet we're not there. And trying to understand that, yes, it does take time, but they keep saying, well, we have to undo a lot of what was undone and da 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 and this, that, and whatever. And it's like, sir, your spokesperson, your press secretary, your whoever, if you're not in that right mind to make eye contact and let us know that you're connected with those of us that,
Exactly.
you know, decided to go whatever way we did, but
Yeah.
here you are, in office, then we need you to not get in front of the camera because it's living on infinitely,
Exactly. And
on
that's all
on
I'm
the internet,
saying.
you
And that's all
know?
I'm saying, Brenna. If he's not having, I'm gonna say, a good day, don't let him come on camera. Like, I'm with Natalie. That had me thinking, like, what's going on? Like, man, who do we have in office? And I hate to say it, at that moment, I was like, man, put Trump back in. I can deal with his mouth. I can deal with Trump's mouth, but that I can't deal with. I'm sorry. You guys can hate me, say whatever you want to say about me, but look, that's how I feel now. Okay.
I
So,
mean, at least with Trump, you kind of always knew what to
oh
expect,
yeah, you know,
you
like, okay,
know?
he's gonna say
And
something smart. You know, he doesn't
right,
care. It's
right.
Trump. Okay, we're used to it. But
And
this, I'm not used to. I'm not used to him, and I'm not used to the vice president because for me, she doesn't speak out enough. For me, she doesn't speak out enough. I thought she was going to really go into office, make her name known as a woman, as an African American woman. Nothing, nada.
you know, zero. And to be African American and also Asian as well, it's like, you would think that as a woman of color, you're a black woman, you're a brown woman, you will take full opportunity and advantage to utilize your voice and be heard and speak up. Like, don't please don't just fly to Atlanta to come to Clark Atlanta and
Exactly.
get your vaccine
Exactly.
and then get back on Air Force One. Like, that does nothing for us.
No.
Like, we need conversations about how we're going to move forward. We need to know, okay, this is how we're going to look at the first 3 months of 2021, the first 4 months. We're going to see where we're at. We're going to reevaluate. If we need to return to partial shutdowns, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to make sure that we've got enough paper towels and supplies and everything else so that the shelves in Walmart and Target and Amazon and everybody else is not running out. But we didn't get any of that. We just have y'all in office and everyone's just kind of scratching their head like, we don't really know what y'all are doing.
Because they don't have a plan. Like they didn't have a plan when they decided to go to Afghanistan. But I'm not going to bring that up because that's a little touchy. But they don't have a plan, you know. And honestly, Brennan, I'm not trying to change the subject, but like I was just mentioning about Afghanistan, and I said I wasn't going to bring it up, but I'm going to bring it up
No,
now.
you can.
Um,
No,
Yeah,
absolutely, because we're
I just
talking
I
about tonight. How far is too far? The
well
government
I
getting involved. How far is too far? So go
well I
ahead.
feel like he's involved in the wrong things. Like I said, trying to make the announcement, like Natalie said, like I feel like he has bigger things he need to worry about, like letting people from Afghanistan come over here and not checking them. And me, I think a lot. And I was like, so if he's not checking these men or women that's coming over here, Lord forbid, what if some Taliban come over here? I'm just saying, that's how I think. Like, you don't know. You didn't screen them for that. You didn't screen them for COVID. So how we don't know if some people have came over with the pack and then they're here in the United States now, you know? Because that's what happened when September 11th happened. They wasn't screening them right. These men were taking pilot schools and everything. You see, they went under the radar.
Exactly.
So you literally, I
They
feel
knew how
like
to fly planes and all of that.
that's what I'm saying. Like he made a door open for them to come in wide open. You don't think anybody's gonna take advantage of it? Let me tell you something. If I'm over there in a third world country and I can get to the United States for free, oh baby, I'm taking it. You know? And once again, he did not screen them for anything. So who knows what's going on? Who knows who's in the States? Who knows if they brought COVID with them? You see?
Or another variant of COVID. I mean, there's the Delta strain. I mean, are we just going to go down the alphabet? How do we move to Delta? What happened to ABC? What happened to the ABC strains? Why are we just at
Yeah.
Delta right now? What happened to the other three? Are they locked in a lab
Yeah.
somewhere where they're trying to figure that part out?
They probably are. And that's another thing I heard this week that Fauci, I guess, me and Dominique was talking about this matter of fact. We was sending each other videos. She actually sent me the first video about Fauci, how they were saying that he was the one that knew about it and there was like government funding involved for this experiment, COVID.
Yeah. I mean, COVID
Mm-hmm.
was in a lab, and it was never supposed to get out of a lab, and it got out of the lab, and then they gave us the story about the bat that bit the pig, and then everything else. So it was just a whole mess, and they are still trying to go back, I believe, and cover up where this originated from, and they knew about this 2 years ago. It's not 18 months, it's 2 years
So
that this.
that's why they already started working on the vaccination because they knew, okay, eventually we're going to need something for this. So that's
Because
the
they they
government for you.
they knew of the effects. I mean, if you're working in a lab and you're studying things, you understand, you're seeing, you're visualizing, you're documenting, you're charting what the results are. How did they know it caused such respiratory distress? Well, because COVID is SARS. Y'all have already been familiar with SARS since what, World War II or something like that. You know what it does to the respiratory system. And here you have this other illness, this COVID-19, which is a variant of SARS that, the first symptoms, remember how initially it was your cough, you're short of breath, you have a bad headache. And then they started adding more and more symptoms. Now it's, ooh, if you've lost your sense of taste or smell, but you have no fever, if you have a really bad headache, if you're achy, if you feel like a flu that you never had. It's like, man, now y'all are listing just about every
Yeah.
single
Yeah, they
condition.
were saying that. They were saying also if you're overweight,
Yep.
um, yes, when you're overweight, man, I was in the gym every day trying to work out. I was like, oh no, it's not gonna catch me. Not today, Satan.
Let me get my weight down so I don't have to worry about COVID trying to
No,
hit me up.
exactly. I know I'm a little thickest and all, but no, no, mm-mm. You ain't gonna get me.
Meanwhile, I'm like, let me get this asthma under control. Let me make sure I got my nebulizer. Man, listen, that double lung pneumonia was a beast. And they were like, do you have COVID? And it's like, y'all ran the test. What'd the test say? Oh, it's negative. Oh, okay. All right. Thanks. Thanks for that. So doctors don't know what's going on. I feel like they don't, but they do. They do, but they don't. They want to tell you, but then they can't really tell you. Because now, anytime you go into a doctor's office or you set foot in a doctor's office, have you been vaccinated? First question.
Yeah, they do
First
say
question.
that.
No, I haven't. Why not? Well, you really need to get vaccinated. Okay. You're gonna stop
Yeah.
yelling at me and tell me what's going on here. T
Yeah.
is back in the building. Did you have anything else for us tonight, my dear?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am, lady.
Just chilling, just sitting back,
Just-
just enjoying, just enjoying yourself.
T's like, it's Friday.
Yeah.
I'm relaxing. Go ahead, T. I can hear it in your voice that you're like,
Yeah,
yep, I'm on
she's
the
like, no.
I'm on the couch.
She's
I'm
like,
just
no,
chilling.
no, ma'am.
I hear you. I already said, I said this weekend I'm gonna be in my bed. I'm Netflixing and chilling by myself because I have a whole bunch of little episodes I want to catch up on. Look, that's the highlight of my weekend. That and maybe going to Home Goods like an old person.
Ooh, if you go to Home Goods, let me know, Edwina. I need to go.
Yes.
There's a
That's
couple
my
things
new
I need to
store.
go.
I love Home Goods. Like I decorate everything in my house with Home Goods.
Yeah,
But I
when
have
I
to.
finally went to.
I told you, girl, man, Home Goods will make you look like you're in the catalog.
Well, ladies, I don't. I almost hate turning on the news. And then when I don't turn on the news, it doesn't matter that I haven't turned on the news because it's just all over social media. So even, if I'm trying to not watch the news because it's so depressing and there's so many different stories out and there's just so many things and more things that make you worried and more things that make you concerned, then I leave it alone. But then it's like it's hard to stay off social media as well because it's like, part of social media is entertaining, but part of social media is where I'm getting info on, hey, this just happened. Like this is, breaking news and things things like that. So I think when we're talking about, how far is too far, we know that since social media is such a huge platform, we know that police departments use it when they're looking for suspects, when they're trying to find
Yeah, that
information.
is true.
And I'm laughing because I know, like weeks back, I was telling y'all about the story about the girl who had robbed the dude at the West End here in Atlanta
Hmm.
out of like millions of dollars in money and jewelry and whatnot. And it's like Atlanta police like posted her mugshot, on Facebook and was like, have you seen this person? So it's like your criminal activity, your happy cat, happy dog, family photos, your family
That's
trips, your family
funny.
vacation. It is all on social media. And so even that platform, the government is like, well, we have access to that. There was a dude that had robbed someone and he posted his stash from his robbery on his social media account. And the
That wasn't
police,
smart.
no, it wasn't smart. And the police were able to find him because of that. So, I mean, it's like, there's a lot that's happening. The government is involved in a lot of it. And we still don't know the whole story. I still feel like there's a lot more that we don't know, that we don't understand and hasn't been shared with us yet. But I expect that it's going to. I just hope that Biden either gets it together with his speaking, or we get somebody else to deliver the information because it's really hard to focus and have confidence and faith when someone looks distracted or they're having trouble remembering what it is that they're supposed to say and you're the leader of the country. I'd rather see the toupee flapping and the orange is not lining up. Like, I mean, at least that gave me something to look forward to and kind of just giggle about. One of those funny, not funny moments.
Yeah.
If nobody has anything else, I think we'll go ahead and we will wrap it up for this evening, this
Okay.
Friday's Real Chill Conversations. How far is too far? We had some good chatting going on there. And next week, I'm not sure what we're going to be talking about, but we'll figure that part out and let y'all know. Make sure you guys go to the YouTube page and subscribe to Real Chill Conversations. Turn your notification bell on so you don't miss any new episodes. You don't miss when we're live. You don't miss when we post little things, because sometimes we go on little excursions, like when Edwina needs Ben Gay for her knees, or
Yes, exactly. Yes. Or when Dominique was trying to get us to walk the mountain,
right, trying to walk the
or
mountain.
go to the club and hang out 2, 3 o'clock in the morning,
That's
like we
that's
21.
That's right. We'll have more of those. And as soon as I'm well enough, we're going to redo my birthday celebration that didn't get to happen yet. So we will definitely do that. And you can go to our Instagram as well, Real Chill Conversations. Edwina, shout out what you got going on, girl, with your positive affirmations.
Yes, you can find me on Spotify, Anchor, and Google Podcasts. And I'm actually in the process of working on um, my clothing line. So that's in the making as well. So and my journal. So look forward to that. Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes,
Miss
yes.
Miss T, they got you making $1 million yet from your NutriBurst? Tell us about that.
Girl, no ma'am, not yet. But this body is transforming, so that's a great thing. And yes, you can actually follow me at I am underscore Curtista Monique, and you can actually make purchases for the Nutriverse there as well.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna jump on it, because you're definitely you are transforming, and it's very evident
Yes, you are, T.
in your posts, and it's very motivational. So like I said it before, I mean, literally, had I not known, I would have really thought that NutriBurst was paying you to be their like
Right.
brand ambassador. So I'm
Right.
adding that to the list of things that you do. Dominique, you can follow her as well. Literally anybody, just go to the Real Chill Conversations page and we're all listed there, and you can just go and you can follow us. I'm Ms. Brennaby. That's MSBRENNAB. And once I get a couple things situated and figured out with this health stuff that I have going on, I will be back live 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, on SensationStationNetwork.com, the nation's #1 urban station. I'm excited about that return to radio and podcast. And now we have TV going on as well. So thank you, ladies. As always, it's a pleasure having our conversations. I definitely look forward to next week. I hope I am back from Florida, but if not, then I will join remotely, or you'll hear my voice. You just won't see my video. That's all. But we'll figure it out when we get to that point for sure. Thanks, y'all, for tuning in and checking us out. That's a wrap. We done. Bye,
All right,
guys.
y'all. Good
Good
night.
night.